Hey there, Nopenguin here, and today is the day that Darkwing Blast is releasing in the TCG. And above all else, there is one archetype in there I am super excited to be playing with, and that is the Bystial archetype. An archetype full of power crept DD crows? Yes please. So I will use their power to revive a long-lost friend. Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. You used to be my everything in Penguins. So I will bring you back. I will remind the world of that fear. This is Red Eyes Bystial. And here is the list, yes. I am so happy to be playing with Dragoon again. It is so good. Oh. So, like I said, this is Red Eyes Bystial, and the entire point of the deck is to special summon Red Eyes Dark Dragoon by using Red Eyes Fusion, just playing it straight, no Verte, no bullshit, just play Red Eyes Dragoon and pass. Because the Bystial archetype, MacLeod, Druid, Worm, Sarnor, these guys can special summon themselves from the hand during your opponent's turn. So if turn 1 I set up a Dragoon, and then on turn 2 I'll be able to special summon out my Bystids from the hand, all while they gain advantage. What's more is you could do a lot of prep work in your first turn to set up for your third turn. For example, getting Lubellion into the graveyard, getting Black Meteor into the graveyard, just filling up the graveyard with a bunch of lights and darks. It's great. Now that I've talked about the playstyle and game plan of the deck, let's go through some cards and talk about some ones that kind of stick out. We are playing triple Black Eyes Meteor Dragon. This is a new bit of Red Eyes support that you can special summon this card from your hand by sending one of the vanillas to the graveyard, and if it's in the graveyard the next turn, you could banish it to grab a Red Eyes Fusion from your hand or graveyard. This is great for keeping hand advantage for your Dragoon discards, but also the deck is able to go into double Dragoons. I'll explain how in a moment. But since we have to send a card with Insight to get into the Red Eyes Fusion, this is by far the best send. Then we have triple Black Metal Dragon. We only really go into this card the turns we are not opening Dragoons. If we somehow didn't find Red Eyes Fusion in our opening hand and we just have a lot of dragon stuff, this is fine as a normal summon. Normal summon this guy, link him off, get your Insight to get your Red Eyes Fusion for the crackback. Now I think there's a decent amount of you who don't know what these cards do, so let me quickly go through them. Bystial Lubellion allows you to discard itself to add any of the other Bystials from your deck to your hand, and then you can special summon it from the graveyard or the hand by sending a level 6 or higher dragon you control. That could be any of the Bystial monsters, and it can even be the Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon, which is just another bit of synergy. But what's important is it has a once per turn effect that you can go ahead and place any Bystid spell trap from your deck right to your spell trap. And we play two of them. We play Rebranded and we play Branded Beasts. Now, Rebranded is really good for keeping advantage. Anytime a light or dark monster is banished, you can target one of those banished monsters, return it to the deck, and then draw a card. This could be your opponent's card being banished, this could be your card being banished. You only get the draw effect once per turn, but it has a second effect that you could still use, that if your opponent summons a monster, you could target a Bystial in your graveyard and special summon it. It is so much advantage each and every turn. I love this card. One thing I want to mention about Rebranded is because it shuffles the monster into the deck that we banish, we could actually use this to be able to go into both Dragoons. The idea is that we go ahead and actually banish the Dark Magician to summon one of our Bystial monsters. Rebranded will then target that Dark Magician, shuffling it back into the deck. And since we naturally play two Red Eyes by itself, we have a Red Eyes and a Dark Magician ready for the second Red Eyes Fusion. And Banded Beast is a trap card that has the effect that if you control a Bystial monster, you contribute a dragon you control to target card your opponent controls and destroy it. It's just a simple 1-for-1, but it's really good because A, it is a continuous trap so you can use it turn after turn, and B, it has a secondary effect that during the end phase, you can target a continuous branded spell trap and just place it into your zone. So if you already have your Branded Beast out, you can go ahead and grab Rebranded from the graveyard. Moving on, we have Bystial MacLeod. This is the best one. All of the Dark Bystials have the effect that they can special summon themselves from from your hand by banishing a light or a dark monster in either graveyard. And this becomes a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster. So if your opponent controls a monster, you could do these at any time during the turn. Magnamut's effect allows you to, when summoned, activate the effect to, during the end phase, add any dragon from your deck or graveyard to your hand. This is amazing for grabbing any other of the Bystials that we want, or grabbing some of the Red Eyes half of the deck. Then we're playing 2 Bystial Druid Worm. This card has the effect that when it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target an opponent's special summon monster and send it to the graveyard. Yep, not destroy, we are sending, though it still targets. The final Bystial we are playing is Bystial Saronir. This effect says that when this is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can dump a Bystial monster or a branded spell trap from your deck to the graveyard. So for example, if we already have activated branded beast with the Lubellion, we could, when Senator is sent to the graveyard, send the rebranded to the graveyard, so during the end phase, we can activate it back to the field. Then just basic chaos support, we have Black Collapse Serpent, White Wyvern Buster, triple effect Veiler over Ash Blossom because it is a light monster. And now for the consistency, we have triple Pot of Prosperity, and we just want to dig for that Red Eyes Fusion, and if we have it, we want to dig for the Bystials. Chaos Space is pretty fun in this deck. By discarding any of your dark monsters, you could go ahead and grab yourself Lubellion or Wyvern Buster, but 9 out of 10 times it is going to be Lubellion. But discarding a light card only really gives you access to add Collapse Serpent, so pretty much every time you're going to be discarding a dark to add Lubellion with this. Next, we have our Red Eyes Searcher. Again, this card is searchable off of the Black Metal Dragon. Red Eyes Insight, send a Red Eyes monster from your deck to the graveyard to add a spell trap. So we send Meteor, add the Red Eyes Fusion, go and play. Speaking of Red Eyes Fusion, you can fuse summon a monster from your extra deck by using monsters from your hand field or deck as material, including Red Eyes. But if we already have Dragoons and we're playing Insight, we have an additional card. Red Eyes Fang with Chain. This is a really cool card. You can target a Red Eyes monster you control, equip this card to it. You can make 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. Then, you can send this equipped card to the graveyard to target an effect monster in the field. Equip that target to this card. One thing I have to mention, this does not work with Dragoon, as Dragoon cannot be targeted by either player's card effects. Quickly through the extra deck, we just have some basic Dragon Link stuff. One thing I do want to mention is Selene is able to revive Dragoons because Dragoons is a spellcaster. This is something that I could not believe when I first saw it, and it is awesome. Finally, the boy himself. Dragoons cannot be destroyed by card effects, and neither player can target it with card effects. During the main phase, you could destroy opponent's monster and inflict damage to it, and we could do it twice because we use 2 normal monsters for its summon. And then once per turn, it has an Omni Negate as long as you discard a card. But if it's able to destroy a card, it gains 1,000 attack, which just makes it a lot harder to beat over, as battle is really the only good way to get out Dragoons. But that's enough about the deck. I have some awesome replays I want to show you, and I'm super excited to be posting this. Let's do this. Let's get into the replays. Our first replay is up against Drytron. Now, I get to go first, and I do have Red Eyes, so I'm just going to go Prosperity, look for any Bystial card that I can, and yep, Beast is fine. I'm going to go ahead and activate Lubellion to add Magnamut, then I will activate this to go ahead and grab Dragoons, set to pass, and I let them go. They start here, and they have an amazing hand. They drew the Alpha. I tried to negate that, but they do have the Forbidden Droplets, which not only negates it, but makes my attack much lower. They're going to go ahead for the triple attack. At this point, I do want to Magnamut just because I want to, if I can, keep them off of 2 cards so they can't go into Mu Beta. Unfortunately, they have the Delta in hand. I do go into Fang here so I can Beast, just target to destroy, and then equip with the chain. That way, again, I am trying to keep them off of 2 material. They do get the Diviner normal summon. Diviner, go ahead and grab their Meteonis. Meteonis summon from the hand their Beta Buster. Unfortunately, I can't really do much about that because they can crash and then attack for 500, but I still got an ad during the end phase, so this isn't terrible. I can special summon this here during the end phase, get rid of their Ben 10, but Lubellion, go here. Sardner, go ahead and send Druid Worm. Lubellion, go ahead and grab the Rebranded. And then we are going to send back the Dark Magician with Rebranded so we can go for Insight for a second Red Eyes Fusion. At least we would if I didn't banish Dragoons. That's really unfortunate, but at this point they are absolutely have nothing. They're gonna go ban Alpha. Alpha will go ahead and grab their big Drytron. At this point, I'm gonna switch some back Magnemute. Magnemute will add me during the end phase. Meteors will go. I will destroy this so Meteors cannot. And they'll go Gamma, special summon Gamma. Gamma bring back Alpha. They'll go into Nightingale. They'll attack directly, and you guessed it, Downard. Double A Zeus. They're just going to wipe the field. They have nothing they want to deal with here. Magnemute will grab me the Druid Worm. I'll activate it during the end phase to special summon it, getting rid of more Drytrons from their graveyard. At this point, I'll go ahead and try to grab the Red Eyes Fusion. They will completely get rid of my field, so I can't bring back Lubellion. But we are able to get it with the Druid Worm. Bash for 3, looking off the top 4. Really, anything I can summon here, Lubellion is perfect, because now I can Lubellion. Go for a Magnemute. Magnemute, go ahead and banish something. Get Magnemute out. Get the effect. Special summon this, go attack. I don't have enough for games, so I'm just going to go for Dark. Dark will grab the Downard. Then we have 3 material for Selene, and like I mentioned here in the deck profile, we could use Selene to go into the Dragoons. They are top decking, I have Dragoons, so this is a done deal. They will infib, I'll let it through for the goals, and that is pretty much the game. It comes to my turn, and they will come and surrender. Our final replay is up against Tearlaman. They do get to go first, but unfortunately they can only Fafnir set to pass. I get to go. I'm going to Lubellion here, try to bait any kind of interruption, but got nothing, so I'm going to go Prosperity for 6, looking for that Red Eyes Fusion, and there it is. Perfect. So we now have all the Bystials we need in hand, and the Red Eyes Fusion. This is a perfect hand, but we are going second, so we are going to be able to destroy the Fafnir. They will Hafnis here, be able to send just what they need. They got the Ishizu card and the Miru to go ahead and get into Kikalos. I decided actually not to negate any Kikalos or the Shaylin here, as I really wanted to wait for a more high-value target to hit with the Red Eyes. They are going to go ahead and special summon out Kaleido Heart. I will use Dragoons to destroy the Lulu. Lulu will summon itself back, but I will stop that with the Dragoons. From here, I'm just going to pass turn. I have the 2 Bystials for this turn. They're going to Shaylin. I will destroy that, which will get me out of the crash range for Kaleido Heart. Then they'll get rid of it with the Druid Worm. They super poly me here, which is a huge bummer, but I will Druid Worm on it being sent to get rid of the Kaleido Heart. Kaleido Heart activate. I will Magnemute, getting in front of the graveyard, and he has absolutely nothing left on field, so they will surrender to me. And that is the deck. I am actually quite happy with how this deck turned out. Usually when I make a deck like this, it's a lot more chunky than it was. Don't get me wrong, you can still have absolute chunk hands. Situations where you have the Red Eyes Fusion and have literally nothing else. You have none of the Bystials, so you're just sitting on Dragoons. And if anything has taught me in the past few years, that sitting on Dragoons Pass by itself is not good enough. However, with the consistency boosters we have in the deck, hands like those are at most a minimum. More often, actually, we have the Bystial half of the deck without the Dragoons, which at that point, the Bystials are still very strong, and having this sort of pseudo Dragon Link package alongside it makes it a really good deck, even if we don't get the Red Eyes Fusion out. Did you like the deck? Because honestly, I'm really enjoying this. It's one of those decks that just shouldn't work, but surprisingly it is. But with that said, like if you liked the video, subscribe if you want to see more. I am Nopenguin, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon follower, signing out.